Hello everyone, welcome back to the Watchaholic. Guys, I am the Watchaholic if you were just wondering. Guys, today I am starting a new series on this channel, and don't you worry, my reactions will continue. Those will never end. Starting a new series where I'm going to be doing ranking, a whole bunch of tier ranking of some of our favorite pop culture things, music, television, movies, specifically today, as you know, because you clicked this video. Today we're going to be doing rankings of Disney Channel original shows. Guys, the 2000s brought me so much joy. Not only was it a prime time in my life, but it was also a time of my life where so many amazing shows and like actors and actresses came out of this era. We have, I don't know, Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Hilary Duff, Zac Efron, and the list can just go on, but those are the main ones I remember right now. But guys, the 2000s were amazing. And if you are like me, Disney Channel original shows were everything. Like everything. Every single show that came out was just like better than the next one and better than the next one. As we got older and older, obviously the demographic changed. You got older, and there are some shows on this tier ranking that I kind of already at this point had kind of grown out of. So they're not really the highest on my list as they would be on other people's. So don't come at me. Remember, I was born in 89, so that makes me, I don't know, 33 years old. And here I am talking about the 2000s, which was, I have no shame. You want to know why I don't have any shame? Because that was an important, beautiful time of my life. Disney Channel, this was its era. Nowadays, I don't know if we still consider it, like, it's just not as it's, the 2000s were GOAT. The greatest of all time. Specifically, the early 2000s between like 2000 to 2008, 9. Like, that was prime time. The GOAT of Disney Channel. Let's get into the tier ranking, the ones that I've come up with. And for my God tier, because I did not want to have God tier, I wanted to do something different. I went with We Give You Our Devotion from the amazing episode of We Are the Boys in Motion. We give you our devotion. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion.
Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion. Boys, we are the boys in motion. We give you our devotion.
I mean, thank you, That's So Raven, for that magical episode. And basically this tier is a perfect show. A rewatchable show that has like episodes that live rent-free in my mind, that I can watch at any point of time and still be like, yep, I know it word for word. I remember this episode and everything that happens with it. My second tier is You Rock, Don't Ever Change by the fabulous Lizzie McGuire, from that episode when she, I think it's their last year of school, and she says, oh my God, I'm going to have to write in everyone's yearbook, You Rock, Don't Ever Change. So basically these are great shows that gave us fun characters, fun episodes, and some just great moments. And they're not nearly like top tier, but they're just right below it for me. Then for the third tier, I have Sweet Niblets by a wonderful, wonderful line by one who we will never forget, Miss Hannah Montana. And
Oh, sweet niblets. Sweet niblets. Sweet niblets. Oh, sweet niblets. Oh, sweet niblets.
Basically, she used sweet niblets anytime she needed to say, like, it was like her way of expressing herself, whether she was angry, happy, or just any sort of emotion. So to me, I'm going to use sweet niblets as a, sweet niblets, as I'm like, I just can't remember the show now. And I also think it's a sweet niblets because I also feel like I was starting to grow out of the age demographic for the show. So to me, the show wasn't as memorable because I was just not the right age for it anymore. And even though it was good maybe at the beginning, I just don't remember it quite as much as I wish I did. And then lastly, my last tier, because some people have like 5 tiers. I only wanted 4 because I feel like that's all I really needed for this ranking. But basically it's everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days, because that is an amazing Hannah Montana song that expresses that everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody gets that way.
And yeah, even Disney made mistakes back in the day, and these shows were some of them. So basically, in this category, I have shows that I thought were good at the time that I now question. Because there are shows that I watched that I was like, oh, I was like really into it. And then I watch it now and I'm like, huh, these were not very good. They were kind of cringy and just not Disney's best. So without further ado, let's just get into today's ranking because I'm so excited to just, I don't know, go through this list that I have here. So Kim Possible. Kim Possible. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. If you want to change me, it's okay. Guys, Kim Possible. Now, I have all these scattered, so they're not in order right now as to like what I think is the best to lowest or anything. That's what the ranking's for, duh. So I just kind of like mixed all of the shows that I really, really remember from this time, and I'm just gonna go through the list. But the first thing I have is Kim Possible. And okay, and this is gonna be controversial. This is gonna be very, very controversial. What a great way to start this video, right? Controversial. Kim Possible to me was fun. I remember it, but honestly, what I remember the most was this jam. Guys, Christy Carlson Romano. Christy Carlson Romano ruled the freaking early 2000s, and I am so mad that she did not continue. And if you have not watched her YouTube series, it is actually magical. It is so good. So during the pandemic, and I think a little bit, not during the pandemic, before the pandemic, she was doing this thing where she did like a cooking show, and she would have Disney Channel original stars like come on, and she would interview them, and they would talk and about their time on Disney, and they would talk about the show or the movie that they were on. It was called Christie's Throwback Kitchen, I think, and it was such a fun, great show. Oh my God, I love it. She had so many amazing stars on it. But she was not only in this, she was in Even Stevens, which we will cover. Don't worry, that is on this list. But she was so awesome. Oh my God. I watched her actually on as Belle on Broadway when she did Bella, Beauty and the Beast. And I was so mad because I waited after to go get her autograph and she didn't come out. I don't know why, but they were giving basically like these like headshots of her that were signed already. I was a little bit disappointing. I really wanted to meet her, but regardless, she is fantastic, and I loved her as Kim Possible. I loved her as Ren Stevens. I'm just getting ahead of myself. Melody, get back. But Kim Possible, like I said, is a controversial one for me because I don't know if I loved it, even though everyone had the like, yeah. But I don't remember it to the point where I can quote it. Like, I don't know. Like, I did love that it was, you know, about this girl who's like basically like an agent who is, you know, also a teenager and going through life. And I loved that. It was like a double agent situation almost. But like me in general, and that's just me, not that the show was bad, you know, it had some great characters in it. It's just for me, I was never like a big cartoon person. And even to this day, it's so hard for me to watch things that is a cartoon. And it's not because I think it's not real. It's just, I don't know, something about it like doesn't really bring me in as much. And I think that was still the case for the 2000s. So anything that was like animated, it didn't really bring me in. But anytime, you know, that intro started, you best believe I was singing along to Miss Christina Milian. Yes, I was. And of course, anytime Say the Word by Christy Carlson Romano ever came up on Disney Channel, I swear I was living my best life. I had that on CD. I had burned it on a CD. Remember, we all know, if you were of my time, you understand what burning a CD means. Yeah, we had to do that back in the day. So because of that, I am going to put Kim Possible in Sweet Niblets. I'm so sorry, Kim. Okay, next we have Life with Derek. Wow, we're really starting in an interesting, controversial start to this video, I see. Yes, we are. So, Life with Derek. Life with Derek was an interesting show, and I don't know if you guys know this, but they are actually rebooting this show now, like, I don't know, 30 years later or 20 years later, whatever it is. I don't know who asked for that, because this show to me is very, I don't understand. I really don't understand why this show was made. It was like basically like this becomes stepbrother and stepsisters, like Derek and I even forgot the girl's name. And yeah, it's just them like trying to control their like what's it called, their household. But it was like kind of like weird sometimes, especially if you've seen like a lot of videos, because it seems like there was a lot of like underlying sexual tension in that relationship, and that's kind of weird because they were like stepbrother and stepsister. So I am definitely going to be putting this one on Everybody Makes Mistakes. Oh, Disney. Everybody makes mistakes, even Disney. Okay, we are getting into some good stuff now, guys. I see the list that's coming, and I have so many thoughts. I'm so excited. Okay, so we are going next into Jonas LA. We're starting backwards instead of Jonas. We're doing Jonas LA. Guys, Jonas Brothers. For those of you who do not know, I was and still am a Jonas Brothers fanatic, lover. It's like they are everything to me. I absolutely love them. And in the 2000s, you best believe that I thought this show was the GOAT. I thought it was the greatest thing of all time. I was like, yes. I mean, look, guys, this show, oh my, if you rewatch it, holy, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And that goes for actually a couple of things from the 2000s that I thought were the best. And I now watch and I'm like, they were good at the time. But it was mostly because it was the time. It was the 2000s, and it just doesn't hold off as well, especially because you know that this show, like the Jonas Brothers were just doing it to do it. If you've seen the Jonas Brothers documentary on Amazon Prime, it is such a beautiful documentary, and I highly recommend, if you have not seen that ever, to watch that. But in that show, they say, I think Jonas LA was a mistake, and frankly, here I am. I agree. I think that show was a mistake. I don't think it was necessary. They only did it because that was the time the Jonas Brothers were just really, really popular. They were still like in it, but you could tell that this was the time of their lives where they were starting to grow apart and want to do different things. Now, did Joe Jonas have an amazing look that season? Yes. Joe in that season with the glasses and the short hair, it was his time. And I will give that We Give You Our Devotion. I would put Joe's look on We Give You Our Devotion because, my God, holy moly, I would put this in We Give You Our Devotion just for Joe Jonas's hair because it was that magical. But we're not going to do that because as a whole, we'll get to the real ranking. But basically, this show also gave us some amazing hits. My Biggest Fan. Oh, you best believe anytime they played My Biggest Fan at a freaking concert, I was living my best damn life.
Never even noticed. It took a while for me to see. Playing back the moments.
Oh my God. Oh, anytime Nick brought out a guitar on this show, just in general, and we'll get to season 1. Holy moly, I was a puddle. I was... Nick Jonas just had my heart so badly during that time. So badly, he had my heart. But we had LA Baby, which was the intro song to this.
The two of us tonight, we can make it last forever. We're in the neon lights.
guys, when I moved to LA that year, and I listened to this every single day anytime I was walking around because I thought I was the coolest person ever. I actually moved to LA in 2014, but anyway, that's besides the point. It wasn't very good. The writing was just bad, and you could just tell that the boys were pretty over it. Though, however, I did love that Joe and Stella slow burn, because God, they made us wait. But guys, I'm sorry to say it, everybody makes mistakes. I love you, Jonas Brothers, but everybody makes mistakes. Okay, and then now we have Jonas, the first season of Jonas. Also, my God, that show does not hold up well. You watch it today and you are like, what in the actual hell is this show? Like, what were they thinking? It was very, very like campy, and like the acting is just so bad because you could just tell like the Jonas Brothers are not actors. Like, that's not, well, now they may be, but like that wasn't really their thing. Like, and then they always made Kevin the like dumb one, and he's not dumb, but like it was like from Camp Rock. They basically just like moved his character over to Jonas, and like he was like that same like kind of like aloof character, which I didn't really like that they always kind of made him that. There's one thing that came out of Jonas. It is this moment. Guys, you best believe when this music video came out, when he sang this on TV, I swore to God I was lifted into another realm, because I watched this on repeat. I would literally watch this and then I would rewatch it 10 more times and just stare at his beautiful face. I think I had this as a screenshot on my computer. I'm not gonna lie. It was a very crazy time for me. I was obsessed. Yeah, it was a problem, but you know, it was still just so campy and just not very good. So I'm sorry. But everybody makes mistakes, Disney, and this was another one. We're starting so low. Don't worry, we will get higher. I love the Jonas Brothers, but my God, those shows they just did not age well. Everybody makes mistakes. They do. Okay, next we have, speaking of everybody makes mistakes, everybody has those days. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. Everybody has that way. We're talking about Hannah Montana, baby. Hannah Montana. And guys, this show aged so well. I watched like I don't know how many videos last night of just Hannah Montana. Okay. God, this show was so amazing. Oh my God. Not only did it introduce us to the beast that is Miley Cyrus, because yeah, she went through a little bit of a I'm slave for you situation, but she found her way, and now she is an amazing artist. If you've never heard her in interviews or hear her sing, like, she is so different. She is her own person, and she is just freaking phenomenal. Miley Cyrus, she is a goat. She is the greatest of all time, or one of the greatest of all time. Is that weird? Can you say that, one of the greatest of all time? But she is up there. And we can thank Hannah Montana for that, because even though, like, yeah, it sucked. She grew up on Disney Channel, and it was just, not everyone makes it really well through it. She was hilarious in this show. Freaking Sweet Niblets. Oh my God, her acting in this was one of my favorite things, and I think it's because I always gravitated towards like character actors and actresses, and she was such a character. She was a character, and that's why I loved her. She was so freaking phenomenal. And guys, because I am for the romance, and because I am an enemies to lovers, you cannot tell me that Jake and Miley's love story is not one of the best Disney Channel love stories.
No, you like me, just say it.
No, you say it.
No, you.
No, you.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same.
Oh my God, who did not live for Jake and Miley? And when they ended up together at the end, it was all I ever needed. When she picked him over that Jesse guy, who, yeah, he was very cute. He was very cute, and he had that really like bad boy like talk and voice and everything. He was cute. But no, Jake was endgame. Jake was endgame.
Wow. So it's not me. Miley, I got your message, so is it me or...
And oh my God, that alone just... it's bringing me to my feels because I just love enemies to lovers and they did it so damn well. Enemies to lover and they did it so well. So Hannah Montana, I love you. And also, like, this show was just so amazing because it was just about like this girl who literally is a pop star and no one knows that it's the same person because she's wearing a wig. It's like the Superman effect. He takes off his glasses and he's Superman. No one ever recognizes him. I'm like, really? A wig? A wig is what differentiated you two. And no one knew she was either Miley or Hannah. Mind-blowing to me. But you know what? It was freaking amazing. And we ate that shit up. And we still eat that shit up. That show brought us also just amazing music. Amazing. Like, oh my God.
Turn this park into a club. The stars are lights and the moon is the vibe from above.
We had amazing guest stars on this show. Yes, the Jonas Brothers were on there. I mean, Nick and Miley. Just Nick and Miley. Let's not forget that was a time of the 2000s. Nick and freaking Miley were a thing. They were a couple and people were obsessed with them. And oh my God, who wouldn't? Who wouldn't? I mean, in this world, they would never be together. But back in the day, it is still, they are just still amazing. I'll never forget when, guys, fun fact, story time. I went to go see the Jonas Brothers in Dallas, Texas. I know. I had a problem, guys. It was hard back in the day. I had a problem. No, I don't call it a problem. It was the best time of my life. I cannot complain about it. Some people don't like to share that part of their lives, but I love to share that part of my life. It's embarrassing, but it was an amazing time and I don't regret a single thing. But I went all the way to Texas. I'm from New York City. I went to Texas just to see the Jonas Brothers at I think it was their world tour. Miley Cyrus showed up and sang Before the Storm with Nick, and everybody lost their... me and my best friend went, and we had an inkling that Miley was going to show up. And when she showed up, that stadium just lost their shit. I mean, Nick and Miley were singing together, and they were no longer, I don't think they were no longer a couple at this point, but still, it was just the idea that she showed up to sing this. I digress. Anyway, this show gave us amazing music, amazing acting, amazing memories, amazing everything, an amazing love story. And because of that, Hannah Montana, we give you our devotion. Yes, boys, we are the boys in motion, and I will give her my devotion. Okay, we're just getting so good. Next, we have the Lizzie McGuire show. The red ball and all the balls falling. Yep, I'm having a moment. Okay, Lizzie McGuire. This show. This is one of like the early 2000s, and this is Lizzie McGuire was the start of it all. Not the start of it all, but this show was really what really catapulted Disney Channel even more. And after Lizzie McGuire show, it was like, okay, they were on a streak. They were like banger after banger after banger of a show. So Lizzie McGuire. Oh my God, my girl Hilary Duff. I mean, this really started the career for Hilary Duff. I don't think without Lizzie McGuire, who knows where she would be? You never know. Maybe she would have made it. But Lizzie McGuire really is what made Hilary Duff who she is today. And yes, I am, and just like I'm pretty sure every other millennial is fucking pissed off that they canceled the reboot of the Lizzie McGuire show. Everyone was super excited for that, and the fact that because Disney just didn't want her to, like, I don't know, actually play a 30-year-old, they were like, sorry, we're going to scrap this show. It's too adult for Disney Plus. I can't believe it. Like that was the worst mistake they did. Do you know how many freaking people would have watched this show How many people would introduce their kids to Lizzie McGuire, which would bring in more people? Oh my God. Jesus. That was one of their everybody makes mistakes forever. Forever. But this show was just iconic. Not only was the fashion iconic, it brought us the story of just literally a middle-aged. She wasn't middle-aged. She wasn't in her 30s. No, that's me. I'm middle-aged. No, she was in middle school, and she basically is just like this girl just who has an animated little caricature that says exactly what she wants to feel, and it was just so amazing. It was beautiful for its time. Oh my God. Like, for its time, it was freaking fantastic.
She's got a point. She's an icon. She's a legend. And she is the moment. Now, come on now.
And this show came out in what year? Lizzie McGuire came out in 2001. It was on screen from 2001 to 2004. 2001. Prime time. Prime freaking time for Disney Channel. It was freaking amazing, that show.
I want a bra, okay? A bra! A bra! We want a bra! I want a bra!
I mean, who could forget the iconic I Want a Bra scene? Who could forget the Christmas episode when she kissed Aaron Carter, who she actually dated briefly after that? And of course, this show was able to give us the masterpiece that is the Lizzie McGuire movie, which is literally what dreams are made of. What dreams are made of. Lizzie McGuire, you are, again, GOAT, and because of that, we give you our devotion. Phil of the Future, baby. Phil of the Future. Okay, Phil of the Future was real early in Disney Channel time as well. I believe that came out in 2004 to 2006 was Phil of the Future. And guys,
Meet a boy named Phil and his family on vacation from the 22nd century. Got a rented time machine and they're on their way to a time way, way, way back in the day. Phil of the future, he's a 22nd century man. Phil of the future, he's a 22nd century man.
Phil of the Future to me is a show that I actually don't really remember very well, but what I do remember is my incredible, huge crush on Raviv Ullman, I think is his name. I mean, in 2004, how old was I? I think I was in like freshman year of high school, sophomore year, so I was about 15 years old. Like, this boy was everything to me. I was like, but who is this boy? Hello, who are you? Guys, Raviv was like everything to me. And of course, like the whole idea that they were just like this family from the future who just landed in this, 2004 timeline, and they just have to learn to live there until they fix their time machine. Disney, what were you thinking with this amazing idea? Ahead of its time, guys. Ahead of its time. I started watching videos last night because I was like, I need to be thrown back into what this show was. And it's still pretty freaking funny. I will say, it is still freaking funny. And you had Ali Michalka on it, and she was like the best friend who obviously turns into love interest. And we all remember when they finally got together. I don't know if we all, but I do remember. And it was just because you knew it was going to happen. And it was just like, I just love romance. And a good best friends to lovers is always nice. Obviously, enemies to lovers always wins, obviously, but I just love them. They were so cute. But it was a good time, and I can't complain. It was a cute show, and because of that, I'm going to put Phil of the Future in You Rock, Don't Ever Change. Okay, next we've got the Proud Family. Oh, another controversial. And it's a controversial one for me, but you know why? You know why? It's because it's a cartoon. And I hate to say it because I liked this show when it was on TV. I watched it. And I loved that this show obviously broke a lot of barriers because it was like one of the only shows on Disney Channel that, even though it was a cartoon, centered around a black family, you know, because representation is so important. So it was, thinking back on it now, it is still like really, really exciting that they, you know, that they did that. That they were like, you know what? Yeah. But for me personally, aside from all of that amazing things, the reason why that show was on TV, you know, did I love that intro?
The Proud Family. What? You and me will always be tied. Family, a family, proud family.
Oh yeah, you had freaking Destiny's Child freaking on Disney playing your damn intro. And that song was fire. A proud family, a family, proud family. Dun, dun, dun. I mean, the song was fucking hype. Oh my God. But for me personally, because it was their cartoon, I could never really fully connect to the show. And it had nothing to do with what it was about. I loved the idea of what the show was about. Black family, a kid, you know, going through different points of life and learning life lessons. Obviously, Disney Channel was amazing at doing that. And then also putting it at the forefront that it was a Black family. Amazing. But for me personally, I just, it makes me so mad. Sweet niblets. Makes me so mad that back in the day, I just wasn't that huge of a fan of it. But now looking at it, I'm like, I probably should have watched this more. Or maybe I just might be old and I just don't remember. Who knows? I don't freaking know. But right now, thinking about it, like there's not a standout moment in the show where I'm like, I remember that. So because of that, Proud Family, you're going into sweet niblets. Now this one is one that not a lot of people might know, but I found this online and I was like, holy shit, I totally remember watching this as a kid. Naturally Sadie. I literally have this on this list, and I can't tell you one thing about it. I lie. I can tell you one thing. And of course, the number one thing I remember is the romance. There was like this guy who Sadie was like really into, but the show was like, it was like about like the environment, I think, and like how like she was like very like into nature and things like that. And I remember really watching this show as a kid and like enjoying it. But I look at videos and I look at posters and I look at pictures and I'm like, I don't remember this cast whatsoever. So I'm gonna put Naturally Sadie, and damn it, do I remember? I don't know if it was a mistake show because I don't remember it being like bad. So I'm just gonna put it in sweet niblets because I just don't remember it really well. So I don't want to say it was a mistake because I just can't remember it really, really well. So that's where we're gonna put Naturally Sadie. Okay, next we have The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Okay, this one's a controversial one for me as well. And it's only because at this point, I was really starting to like grow out of Disney Channel, I think. This show came out in, let me look back here. Sweet Life on Deck, not Sweet Life on Deck. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody came out from 2005 to 2008. And did I watch it? Abso-freaking-lutely, I watched it all the damn time. But it's not a show that to this day I still am like, yes, I loved you so much. I think in the moment, in the 2000s, I was like, this was a really good show. And I think it was. The writing was really good. It had Ashley Tisdale, Brenda Song, who, by the way, Brenda Song was in everything. She was also in Phil of the Future. She should have gotten bigger. And I hate to say it, that the reason why she was not catapulted, and I could be wrong, was because she was the only Asian girl on TV at the time. And that is very sad to think about. But she was one, like, just like Raven was the only black girl. Well, there was Kyla Pratt as well. But, like, one of the only, like, she was the only Asian representation in every single movie or any single show. She did so many DComs. She was in a lot of Disney Channel shows as well, and I think she deserved more.
Are you familiar with the gear shift?
You mean the Prindle?
The what?
The Prindle.
Are you referring to the shift lever that says PRNDL?
That's a child's Mosby. I know how to spell Prindle.
It is not something you spell. It is a gear shift. The letters stand for park, reverse, neutral, drive, and low.
You're making me nervous with all this technical talk.
That's funny. Tell another one.
So justice for Brenda Song and her Prindle. We can never forget the Prindle, guys, obviously. So Sweet Life and Zack and Cody, you know, it gave us some great cameos. That show also had a lot of cameos, and it was also the time where a lot of like Disney Channel was like really building its like roster, it seemed like, because every single person was on Sweet Life at some point or another, whether when they started doing the crossovers. Yes, that's what started it. You know how Arrow and all those shows did this like crossover stuff? Disney freaking started that. Disney Channel started that. Okay. And, you know, you had, like, every freaking celebrity on that. There were so many celebrities on that show. All of the other, like, there were so many characters or actors that were put in that first before they were, like, put into their own show. Like, Selena Gomez was on that. She was on that. She was on Hannah Montana before she had her own show, Wizards of Waverly Place. Even Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens, Monique Coleman were, like, in the show. And it was like while High School Musical was was starting, and it was like weird because they had them in that show, not as High School Musical, obviously, because Ashley Tisdale was in it, but like it was kind of weird to see like all of these High School Musical people like being put into Sweet Life because they were all playing different characters, and I'm like, this is weird, but we all ate it up, we all loved it, and we can't all forget. I mean, I know I never forgot it because I watched it a million times, but it's actually kind of cringy when you look at it now. But back then I was like, oh my God, it's the best thing ever. But Zac Efron and Ashley Tisdale playing like an enemies to lovers situation where they play like two people who like completely hate each other. And then by the end of the episode, they're like kissing and making out. And it's so weird because it's literally Troy Bolton and Sharpay.
Oh, cry me a river.
If I did, you'd pollute it.
You bleeding heart liberal.
Establishment puppet.
Do you want to kiss me as much as I want to kiss you?
I'm surprised someone as smart as you would have to ask. I hate you.
I hate you more.
It's weird. It's very weird now. And the scene when you watch it now is cringy AF because the acting is just pretty bad. But in that moment, you thought it was the best thing ever. I did. I thought it was the best thing ever. But yeah, it brought us amazing, funny memories, especially from Brenda Song. She was literally, London was just freaking hilarious. And you know what? Because of that, I'm going to give Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and Sweet Life and Zack, oh my God, I can't talk. Sweet Life of Zack and Cody on You Rock, Don't Ever Change. They deserve that. Because there were some really good moments in that. There were. Okay, next we have Even Stevens. This is actually the beginning, guys. Like, this one really started it off. And Even Stevens, this was on from 2000 to 2003. I was literally in like 6th or 7th grade when this show came out. And honestly, it holds up. I watched a couple of episodes not too long ago, maybe a year ago on Disney Plus, and that show still holds up. It's still really good. I loved this show. I mean, again, talking about Christy Carlson Romano, like she was just killing it at Disney Channel during this time of her life, and Ren Stevens was a character that was just so opposite of her brother Lewis, played by Shia LaBeouf. He is an interesting specimen, that man. I don't even want to talk about it on this channel, but like I don't know if I hate him or I don't hate him, or I don't care. Like, I'm just like, I just don't know how I feel about Shia LaBeouf. But what I can say about Shia LaBeouf is that he was amazing as Lewis. I loved him as Lewis Stevens. Like, his character was so funny, and he was also a character, and that's what I loved. I loved characters that were like, I loved actors that played like caricatures or characters, like a character. How many times can I say character?
Bend your knees. Left arm straight. You saw how Tom did it. Just relax.
I am relaxed!
Oh. Hey there!
That is against the rules. Get out of here.
What?
Yeah.
You talk to me that way? Oh, Ren! Toast is on fire, look!
But he was extremely funny, and him and Christy Carlson Romano were perfectly cast as brother and sister because they were so different. And then when the show started, like, Lewis was so little and Ren was like had already had her growth spurt, so it was just like funny because they were really brother and sister who really just were so, could not be more different, but yet you knew that they loved each other. And when they had those episodes where they really showed that, like, and I think it's actually the first episode, which I always remember. I always remember that first episode because I loved that at the end of it, like, yeah, he really used his sister just to get a Pokemon card, but then he felt so wrong about what he had done and that he actually cared about his sister that at the end he traded his Pokemon card so he could get her the gift that she wanted, which was a necklace that he saw her looking at the mall. And that was like such a beautiful moment because that really showed started the show off of being like, yeah, these two people could not be any more different. They're always going to be bickering, but at the end of it all, there is love. And the show was great. It introduced us to Beans, who loved bacon. And Beans is always the actor. I don't know his name, but he is always on Christy Carlson Romano's like shows. He was on her podcast just recently, and he's also been on her YouTube channel, which I talked about before. He's just like such a cool dude, and like him playing Beans, like a kid who loves bacon. I love bacon. It's just magical. And because of that, oh, and wait, one more thing. They gave us a freaking musical show. The first show to give us a musical. They went to the moon in 1989. So, because of that, Even Stevens, you rock. Don't you freaking ever change. Oh, we are getting towards the end here, guys. And I mean the end of Disney's like, ooh. And that is Sonny with a Chance. Ooh. How do I feel about Sunday with a Chance? I think my silence kind of says it all. Now, okay, this show came out from 2009 to 2011. So yeah, I was already really out of it at this point. Like late teens, early 20s when the show was out. So it was definitely like starting to get out of my like age range of shows. But I watched it because I liked Demi. You know, I loved Camp Rock. She was in that. I loved Demi. I loved her as an artist. I still do. I think she is a powerhouse of a singer. Oh my God, Demi Lovato is one of the best singers out there, and it just makes me so sad because she's gone through so much in the media and in her own life. And when you watch her back in these shows, you see how skinny she was, it makes me just think about how sad she probably was inside. So rewatching this show or like just watching a scene of it like makes me just incredibly sad. And also that show was really more like very sketchy SNL, like, not that I don't like SNL, but it was just like Disney's version of like a really sketch comedy, and very campy and very over the top, but not in a good way. Because you have actors that are over the top, but it works for the show, and I felt like it was just too much for me. Ugh, it's not one of my favorites. Like, now, did I like, again, the romance? The romance always will save a bit of a show for me. If it has some good romance, I'll remember you. I'll remember you if you got a good romance. But, you know, who didn't love, like, Chad and, what was Demi's character's name? I forget her name already. Sonny. Sonny. Guys, you should probably know where I think this show is going on this list. But Sonny and Chad like getting together, that was also an enemies to lovers, and we loved that tension, that whole will they won't they. It was awesome, and I really enjoyed those episodes where they were at each other's throats, but you could tell that there was a lot more brewing underneath. But aside from that, I don't remember anything else about this show. And because of that, I'm sorry to say, and it just was not, I'm sorry, but it is, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. I'm so sorry, Demi. Okay. Next, we have, I don't even know how to start this show, how to even continue this by even, That's So Raven. That's So Raven. I mean, what can I not say about this show other than it was...
This restaurant is nothing without Victor. Where is he? You know, if I were you, I'd get Victor back right now. Get me J-Lo. Oh, it's too late.
Something ain't right about those boys.
I think it is the greatest of all time. In my opinion, it is GOAT. It is GOAT to me. That's So Raven. It gave us the amazingness that is Raven Simone. Raven Simone playing Raven in this show is one of the best pieces of physical comedy ever. Like, just ever. This show was just so amazing. Every single episode is one that I pretty much can watch on TV and the memories will flood back because I had seen it that much as a kid. And this show was also the first show to skip the whole, like, sorry, you can't have more than this amount of seasons. I forget how much it was, but Disney wasn't allowed to have a certain amount of seasons at first. And this show was the first one to be like, fuck it. And they went to 100 episodes. I said seasons, I meant episodes. They can only have a certain amount of episodes, which is why when you think about Lizzie McGuire, Even Stevens, Phil the Future, anything that was like before That's So Raven only had like 2 seasons at max. 2 seasons, that's the most it could have. Which is mind-blowing to think because shows these days have like, I don't know, 6, 7 seasons. And these shows were only getting 2. But That's So Raven. That's So Raven beat it because it was just that good. They just couldn't, if they stopped that show, that would be a detriment to their, like, channel. And thank God they did not make that mistake. I love this show so damn much. So much. I went on a rabbit hole last night of watching episodes because I just couldn't stop watching at how freaking funny and amazing that show was. Not only was it funny, it tackled, like, real life issues, like body weight issues, race, love, grief, like everything was in that. And like one of my oh my God, I will never forget this episode like really stands for, it's like from season 1, because season 1 is like one that I like can watch any day. Season 1, season 2 are ones that I remember like word for word almost, but I can't stop thinking right now of this scene.
Voila! Iguana! Dance, iguana! Dance, iguana! Dance, iguana! Dance, iguana!
For it's Corey's birthday and he wanted a zoo, and like she has a vision that it doesn't work, she has a vision that he says that he hates her, and she's like, oh my God, I have to fix it. And then she makes it worse, but she comes out in the zoo and she has like this Australian accent, which I can't do, and she's just like, righty, yes, oh my God, and she's like, as the iguana, and she's like, iguana. Oh my God, it is freaking hilarious. I love that episode. I love the episode when she dresses up as like she's pretending to be Raven, like her mom, and she comes in with a big butt and that purple outfit with the big teeth, and she's like yelling at the teacher. Oh my God.
Mr. Raven's mother.
Thanks for coming.
Anything for my baby's favorite teacher.
It's gold. And of course, we cannot forget this iconic scene.
Does you know who I be? Does you listen to music?
Do you watch TV?
Do you carry a lunchbox?
Do you carry a lunchbox? Oh my God. It's so damn good. It is great. And I loved that Chelsea and Eddie, like them as like the three musketeers, I'll call them, their friendship was so well put on TV and so well cast. Like all three of them had such great chemistry together. And even though Orlando Brown went a little bit, Disney Channel did not do him well. I think he was unfortunately one of the Disney Channel stars that really went off the rails in his later life, in his older years. But like they, in that moment, like in this show, like they were amazing together. And she needed these two friends who were always up to go on these crazy, crazy adventures with her. But my God, Jesus, oh my God, so many good episodes. That's So Raven was iconic.
Being spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference.
It is iconic and will be iconic, and I will show my kids That's So Raven. And because of that, we give you our devotion, Raven. And you know what, Raven? You're going before Hannah Montana because you are literally GOAT to me. Sorry, Lizzie, you're going into third, but we give you our devotion. Yes. Okay, and next we have, finally, actually, we have Wizards of Waverly Place. Now, Wizards of Waverly Place came out in 2007, and it went on till 2012. Again with this show. This is another one that, to me, the beginning I was in, but towards the end, I was already starting to get out of that age group or the demographic for the show. I was already a little bit too old. So to me, I think the show started off strong, a show that I really watched, that I was into. But by the time we got to 2012, I was 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 4 years. I can't do math. That's what that just proved. I can't do math. But Wizards of Waverly Place, to me, do I remember it? Yes, I do remember it. Did I love it? I don't think so. Again, controversial, but I think it's just because of my age. Did I enjoy the show Wizards of Waverly Place? The silence to me is telling me that I don't have too many memories of it. Like, yeah, I remember I remember what the show was about. I remember them being wizards and being in New York City, and Alex going through high school and dealing with high school things that we all deal with, while also being a wizard or training to be a wizard behind the scenes of like everyone. They don't know she's a wizard. She had her best friend. They have the like, my hat, my crazy funky hat, that song. But it just doesn't like sit with me in that way. I think Wizards of Waverly Place is gonna be controversial. It's gonna be controversial, guys. But I think to me, Wizards of Waverly Place is going in sweet niblets because I don't really remember it, but I do remember enjoying it when it was on TV. And it wasn't like bad writing. It wasn't like too campy. Like it was good. It was good for its time. I just think like personally for me, Wizards of Waverly Place is one I don't really remember too much, which is weird because like I think about my list I'm looking at right now, everybody makes mistakes, and I've got Jonas and Jonas LA and things that I remember, but I think they were shows that I thought were good at the time, but they were not very good at all. And I think anything that's in sweet niblets, to me, I was like, oh no, I really liked it at the time, and it was actually like good. It just didn't resonate with me as much. And I think Wizards of Waverly Place just didn't sit with me that way. I think that's what it is. I think Wizards just didn't sit with me in a way that I remember it to the point that I like really, really like it. I mean, yeah, it was great to have Selena Gomez, a Mexican actress, up on the helm. Yes, Latinas, bring them up on top. Yes. Was that great? Absolutely. Do I like Selena Gomez? Yes, absolutely. But the show, I just don't remember it that much. And I think it's mostly because I was aging out of it at this point. But anyway, guys, here you have it. This is my list. This is my list. This is my list. This is my list for 2000s, specifically early to mid 2000s Disney Channel original shows. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this because I really enjoyed doing this. This was super duper fun. The 2000s, like I said, was a very, very special time of my life, and I loved a lot of the stuff that came out from this year. And let me know in a comment below if you'd be interested in me doing, the decom version of this, doing the early 2000s to mid 2000s, because there were a lot of decoms from like the late 90s to like mid 2000s, late 2000s. There were some really, really good ones. But let me know in a comment below if you'd like me to do a tier ranking for that, because I would really love to do that. Just saying. But yeah, if there's any other kind of tier rankings that you'd like me to do on my channel, please comment those down below as well. And let me know what was your favorite, or what would you say is your We Give You Our Devotion tier down below. Well guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give me a like, comment down below, and also click that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next video.